Welcome back to Rum, Coke, and Code, the place where we talk about cybersecurity stuff in about 10 minutes or so. This is episode 2, the basics of open source intelligence. My name is Zach, and to my right is my handle if you want to speak with me on Twitter. Um, let's go ahead and dive in. So, we're going to talk about open source intelligence. Now, in a nutshell, open source intelligence is the concept of being able to to collect, catalog, and digest open source information. This means information that is public and free of bias. It also needs to be information that you can get a hold of. See, open source event it has to be open source, has to be public, has to be free, and it has to be legal. Now, granted, not free doesn't always mean free, but what I mean by that is most of the time you're going to find a lot of this information on Google, and sometimes you'll find it in data dumps, which get breaches and such. But we are getting ahead of ourselves here. So I'm going to talk about a few different things here today. I know we only have like 9 minutes or so I'm going to kind of go a little briskly here. The first thing I want to share with you is I do have a email account. If you do want to get on the podcast, which I've now have made this a podcast now. So if anyone wants to come by and say hi, happy to have you. Here is the email address. It's in the bottom right here. Feel free to send me an email and we'll be happy to discuss. Um, I'm going to share with you a few things. Now, I really want to say I do have a couple of cool extensions I do highly recommend for open source intelligence, specifically to Firefox, because this is one of the few times I actually use an extension specific to it. There's an extension called Google Hacking, which makes it easier to form the site-based Google requests, which make it a little bit easier for you. Now, you can also do a lot of what I'm going to share with you manually, but it does help to have sometimes a bit of assistance with that. So, here are some sources where you can get some open source intelligence. You have the Google Hacking Database, you have the Exploit Database, which are both free and open source. You have Google, obviously. Google Dorking, which means you can limit it by size and by scope. Shodan, SHODAN, for IoT devices, ASINs, information that would be available from IoT devices and really IT in general. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, LinkedIn. Insert other social media here. The more places you can find someone, the more likely you're looking at the right person. For example, you can find me here on YouTube. You can find me. You can find me here on. If I knew how to point, that'd be great. You can find me here on Twitter. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me in my email down there. You can find me anywhere and everywhere. So, from an OSINT standpoint, I am kind of screwed. That being said, I'm trying to come up with the best thing to say here. Some other way to get information is by photos. I guarantee you, if I took a photo outside my door right there and told someone to find me, I guarantee someone in my OSINT group would probably be able to find me pretty quickly. Image intelligence is a big thing because you can extract a lot of information from a photo. Not only that, you can also hide data in a photo through steganography, which we can also talk about at some point. But one thing I will say is information in EXIF data can be actually pretty useful, but many times most phones will not include that. If I take a photo with my phone right now and look at the EXIF data, it's not going to have any data because I have location turned off. It might tell me the size of the photo. It might tell me when I took the photo, but it's not going to give me the latitude longitude. Having that information makes it a lot easier, I'll tell you that much. Another way you can get information is just by looking on the internet, looking up someone's name, news sites, podcasts, the press. If they've recently been in the news, it's pretty easy to find them that way. Another one that most people forget about is the Wayback Machine. So if I were to delete, let's just say YouTube deletes everything one day, well, you can use the Wayback Machine to go back and read comments that have been deleted. There's actually a extension for Reddit, or there's a website for Reddit specifically called Deleted, I think. Basically, it allows you to read deleted Reddit subreddits and comments. Pretty useful. Now, I think I've gone on long enough today on some of the tool sets, but the biggest part is the mentality. You see, with hacking and open source intelligence by extension, you have to be focused on your objective and you have to be willing to hang the flag up if you realize that you don't have a next step to go. Now, knowing when to cease a search is a hard part because I've been there. I've spent 16 hours on a penetration testing website box, so I feel the pain. But there's a point where you have to reach out for help. See, IT is a collaboration effort. It's not a one person silo anymore. It used to be. It used to be treated as a one person or one department silo, but now security is everyone's job. Because if Janet from accounting, for example, gets an email about an invoice that turns out to be a man in the middle, or not a man in the middle, a Trojan file, for example, that's one point that, hey, security is not in accounting. I mean, they should be, but that's beside the point. Or let's just say, let's say Brad from the reception desk gets a call who from company that says, "Hey, we need to reset your password." That should be a red flag. Security is everyone's job. It's not just compliance. I cannot stress this enough. It is not just compliance. The more focus and effort that you put into your security team, the better you will perform. Now I know that we kind of went off the reservation when it came to open source intelligence a little bit, and I apologize for that. I do sometimes go on a bit of a tangent when I feel passionate about something. I'm sure everyone does here. But we are going to go ahead and wrap up today. I do hope that you enjoy the podcast. Hope you enjoyed your drink. And we will be seeing you in a few days when I make the next one. Thank you for coming by and hope you have a great day. Hope to talk to you again soon. See ya.